Okay, here we go. There. So you already seen the countdown. I have to go and I have to always go and restart it. So what's good, Facebook? This is High Priestess Sister Cola Sojet, and we have here Peace Sunday. I'm also sporting some Alita's fashion. I'm trying to see how to wear this dress. Shout out to Clothes for the Soul, Black Esmeralda. You know what I mean? I have to give my girl some love for sure. I can't really show y'all everything now, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do something else later, and I'll show the dress. But anyway, so this is Metaphysical Monday. It's not gonna be a really long live tonight. We were supposed to do the panel, and we never did get a chance to get P's side on, or her point of view on this subject on concerning black men and black women. Let me cut my TV off. It's kind of a distraction right now. I had it paused. But anyway, so how you doing tonight, P, before we even get started? Oh, by the way, P is having some connection issues. So if there's a delay, just be patient, okay, with the process. Okay, can you hear us,
Okay.
P? Yeah, how are you tonight?
Yes. I'm hearing you, but it's kind of
Kind of what?
breaking.
Breaking, yes, breaking. So if we can't go all the way through, that's fine. But you can go ahead and weigh in, if you like, on, the topic we were talking about. And I was just asking, how are you tonight?
Sorry, I did not get you.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling fine. How about you?
Mm, I'm good too. I'm good. Just
That's good.
rolling on the river. That means I'm going with the flow. So the topic, first off, y'all, welcome to Metaphysical Money. This is again High Priestess Sister Cola Soja with Peace Sunday here, and we're about to weigh in on the topic of the relationship between black men and women. Um, how can we find resolution or resolve in that? We did a panel on this about 2 weeks ago, and we still need to get the males in too, because it was mostly women, and Antonio Smith was also with us. But I want to hear from the youth and from a perspective, a different perspective. So P's going to give us her perspective on that topic. And we did ask some questions in between. The first question was more like, if you already have something you want to say, you can, because you were saying something backstage. But I just wanted to ask you, like, what type of house did you grow up in? I asked everyone the same question. Were you in a matriarchal household or a patriarchal household? Meaning, was it more female
Patriarchal.
dominant or male dominant?
Yes. Male dominance.
Male dominant. Okay. And what, do you have a lot of brothers, or was it just dad, or how was the structure?
Just that. Just that.
Okay, just dad.
Just that.
Okay. No brothers.
I have a stepbrother, but
Okay.
it's not stepbrother. It's
Okay.
not
All
stepbrother.
right. And so how do you feel that your upbringing, same questions I asked everyone else, how did that affect the way you relate with male energy? And that be it cousins, you could have had male cousins, male friends, people you go to school with, people in your community. How did his upbringing, and did you see that reflected in other males that you had to encounter?
Yes, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm just being honest here. Yes, it has. It has affected me in terms of how I relate to male in the society, and basically, I just feel like the male dominance thing and the male energy is always the same everywhere. So I always stay away from the male dominance and the male energy because it's actually a reflection, and I need to stay away from that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So when you said it's everywhere, it was all throughout the community, or you mean globally?
Um, yes, yes. I feel like they're the same. The reflection is always there globally.
Okay, I understand. Yeah, so yeah, we all have had different experiences with the patriarchal system, especially in terms of spirituality, in terms of women's, empowerment. even doing things like I do, it's a lot. It's not easy, But I would like for you to weigh in on what you were gonna tell me, just about, we don't have to drag it out, but I want to hear you. I don't have to just ask you all of the questions because you had something you were going into. So I would love for you to just give us a little bit of that, and then we can go from there.
All right. I really admire your attire.
Huh?
And I really admire your attire.
Oh,
Your
thank
attire.
you. Thank you. Clock that, especially being in fashion, right? I forgot you were a fashionista. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I have to
All right.
let me
Um,
give the attire some love. You are a designer, and Lita, she did this. She created this fashion. And so I'm gonna go ahead and give it some love on the live. And then at the bottom is just, extended all the way to the ground, So she did a good job. Lita always do her thing. Y'all tap in with my girl Lita, aka Black Esmeralda. Clothes for the soul if y'all are interested in any of her fashions. Okay. She make a lot of nice stuff. Yep, even underwear for ladies with little messages on them and yoga socks and yoga pants. She makes some cool stuff, you guys. So even some of you fellas may want to tap in and get your girl something. Get your sister something. Get me something. Anyway, so yeah, you can always get me that cup of coffee too. Sister Be Parched. Link is in the bio if anyone wants to support. So anyway, so go ahead and weigh in on what you wanted to tell us about this, your experiences with this system, and how it's whatever you wanted to share about how it affected your experiences and or influenced your experiences, and just whatever you were going to say before. Go ahead, Queen. You got the floor.
all right. Thank you very much. I really appreciate. Yes, I should just say whatever I want to say will be I feel like the relationship between black men and black women is kind of obstructed because of misogyny. When men feel like I think I mentioned toxic masculinity the very first time.
My mic was off. Yeah,
Yes, it
you did toxic masculinity. Yeah, define that. What does that look like?
okay. Toxic masculinity, that has to do with men trying to prove that they are men in different ways. Women don't have a say. Women keep on being oppressed. You see, top tier classes of women, they are not really who they're supposed to be because men feel like they're not supposed to be at the top, and men feel like they always have to dominate. And that's toxic masculinity. Women are human beings, and of course they have every right to be at the top as well. So and patriarchy strives on a daily basis. So that's basically the interaction that comes in between male and female relationship globally, and it's always a thing, and it keeps on striving.
So when you say that women should be allowed to be at the top, what do you mean by at the top? Like holding official positions, leading the household, or what does that look like? Competing with the male, like for jobs, or how does that look like in terms of our society?
Yes, yes. You've just mentioned, yeah, politically, economically, I mean, top tier. I mean, so many leading industries and firms. You see, women don't really have that power and position to be at the top. It's always the men. And even if you see a woman, it will not even take a year or some months. She's not gonna be there. And I ask myself, how many female presidents do we have in the world currently? How many of them? So you see, it's just I don't think we have up to. I don't think. Yeah, I don't
They
think we
have
have
they have
up
a
to.
they have a few somewhere. I'm hearing recently. I think it was overseas somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the Asian countries or where it was. I'm not sure, but my mother was talking about it. Tell me this. One of the men's biggest fears is that women are not equipped to run the country are to have such power because of our emotions and the decision making that we would make in society based on our emotions. Do you what do you feel about that? And some women are emotional, and others, they handle emotions different. Or do you think when it comes to that type of decision making that most women are gonna act in emotion, or is emotion even important when making those type of decisions?
Well, just like I mentioned earlier, uh, toxic masculinity makes women feel like they are the weaker vessels. Yeah, it's good to be in your emotions. It's good not to be firm about your decisions or what you need to do as someone in the upper class in the society. But it's fine. But that does not mean that women should not or cannot make good leaders because of their emotions. And since they're being classified as weak vessels, it looks like they are weak, but in them they're not weak. They can always have advisors, and when they want to get into business, they can always get advisors. And if you check out for countries that women are the leaders, you see that things going smoothly. I mean, things are amazing. I mean, based on research, things always go on well. And I'm not lying here. I'm not copying. I'm just saying everything that I know basically about female leadership.
Thank you for that. Um, so when you said the queens, so are you speaking in history, or is there any examples that you can give where the woman is running the country and society is going smooth? And I know throughout history, we have several women that were in power, even in the Egyptian or Kemetic pantheon. You even had like the Cleopatras and people like Queen Nzinga from South Africa. You got women like Harriet Tubman, so and I don't think she was crying a lot. She wasn't making a lot of emotional decisions. I don't think she was, but but can you answer that?
Uh, well,
Well, you know what? I'm a lot older than you, so I'm not going to make you go all the way back in history. But if there's an example that you'd like to give, you know, are you familiar with Queen Nzinga?
no, 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 I'm not. Only Harriet Tubman.
And that's really a shame because Queen Nzinga is on your continent. The story of Queen Nzinga. I think she's on Shaka Zulu line. But even in my order, that you heard about today with the ladies, the highest honor you can get, the highest level you can get to in my course for women is the power of Nzinga. It's the mystery of Nzinga. And that's deep. And a lot of women won't reach that level. You would. She's a Capricorn, Queen Nzinga.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you more about her, but I think I'm gonna send you a link and you should look her up. I think you're gonna really enjoy hearing about Nzinga. And she knew when to be feminine and womanly, and she knew when to be a warrior. I'll just say this: her brother wasn't fit to serve. He was spoiled, a little spoiled fat king, a prince, and Nzinga always wanted to be like her father, so she took on the skills of being a hunter and a warrior, and she was pretty adept in the forest with her father, while her brother just sat around and he was a prince, and Zinga would beat him up because she couldn't stand the way he would, and maybe that's what some of the men are concerned with, that women could go overboard with power. Do you think that women have the tendency sometimes to get power crazy just as the men when they are in that energy? And I have one more question after that, but go ahead if you heard my question.
Okay. Thank you for the compliment. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I'm gonna definitely send you something on that. I think that story will bless your life. I think you will really enjoy the story of Princess and Zinga. who later became a queen. Or she might have been a king. I don't know. She was a queen. Um, so if we do have roles of balance in society for the heterosexual people, what does that look like in a household to you? Like, is it my? And ma'at just means the balance of male and female. Well, it means a lot, but have you heard of the concept of ma'at? You
No.
don't have to. You don't have to know it, but I'm just speaking. Should it be more of a like egalitarian, where a man and a female is in the house making the decisions together? Do you feel that? What do you feel about that? Or is there a solution?
Okay.
How would that look in African society if they were to give women rights, but they could still be in these heterosexual relationships? How would that look in African society?
Oh, that would be very perfect. And that would be a very perfect opportunity for women because, for the past years, past centuries, past decades, it's always men in power, patriarchal tendencies everywhere. So I think it's high time we started bringing in matriarchal tendencies, and I think that will be, how should I put it, a catalyst for rapid development in Africa because I'm just gonna say, women, when it comes to do with thinking ahead, having yeah, and if women start having that position of leadership in houses and families, I mean everything will go on smoothly, just like I mentioned earlier on. Now I ask myself, why do most women go with the title woman king? You see, a woman, her name is Amanda, but she prefer being called King Amanda. Why do you think that? Why do you think that they like going that way? Why do you think that?
She want to be
Because they
called
want to tell you,
King Amanda, King Manda, because she want them to
yes,
put some
yes, yes.
respect on her name. I'm sure that's why she said they got to put some respect on the name. My question, because you're young and youthful and optimistic and innovative, what does that look like if you were to right now have the power to give the women the rights that they need in Africa, in the Biblio, in
Mm.
Nigeria? What does that look like right now? If you was to make the announcement, think about all of the men in Africa, and you say, "Hey, listen up. We're about to change the direction here." And the women are just as in charge as you are. We coming in with balance in my eye. How does that look? In what would they say? How would that go? Do you think it would be war? Would it have to be something that? How would that manifest? If that could be a possibility, because we got to come with realistic solutions. You think they would ever go for that? And would the younger
Oh,
African male be more open than the elder African males, or are they the same?
okay. My take on that, I think and feel like that will cause a revenging war because that has to do with change. You're trying to bring in change and you're trying to bring in something new. I know human nature does not like change. They like
Right.
permanency, not temporariness. So you're trying to bring in something new into the culture. I don't think it's gonna work like that yet, but it will take years before it to now be something great, something firm, and that will lead to revolution. And that's just it. I don't think. I think a war will spark. Definitely, a war will spark. But
I
if
agree. And
we,
I'm only saying that so before, any of the ladies out there that may be watching with a Harriet Tubman spirit, be mindful, anywhere in the land, because there's a lot of femicide in all kind of places all over the world, but really in these certain countries, they have, girls don't have a chance. So here in America, we can speak, more, but I also, because others are watching from other places, we want to put realistic solutions out there. So my next question was, do you think that the elder males, since they're so locked in their ways, is it are the younger boys starting to see things in a different way, or do they hold that same belief right now in Nigeria?
oh yes, yes, they say things in a very different way. as time goes on, new things get attached and get imbibed into the African culture. So things that things that were seen, like let me just say 100 years ago, are not seen that way these days. Because as things tend to fade away, and as such, the culture, that culture will no longer be there. So younger men see things different from the way older men see.
Hmm. Well, that's good. At least that's a blessing. It really is, you know, because I mean, is things are progressing. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen. I almost feel like with these systems, even here in America, that even if it's church or just whatever, it's certain things that have to dismantle themselves because there's other things that's taking place. It's a lot of mental illness, people crashing out. You have people getting bored. They don't even know where to stick their penises anymore. They stick them anywhere, in the ground, in the fruit, in a doll. So they don't even know what to do with them anymore. Okay, at this point, and I'm not saying all men, but I'm saying a lot of things people do out of boredom. You have women, they don't know what to do with themselves either. We just out of order in a lot of ways. So I don't know if we got to exhaust ourselves because there's been a lot of fighting between, for those that are watching tapped in, there's been a lot of fighting even here online between the male and the female, the black man and the black female, namely. And I asked this question, and we had this panel. This was actually posed by a black man, so it is hope. I'm not saying that all black men are just out there sticking it in anything, but it's enough of them that are. Just like there's a lot of women that's not representing, class and having any integrity about themselves. Anything goes now. So I don't know if it has to go to that part of things, to that extreme, where it just becomes, because everything always goes around full circle. You know what I mean? So just like you said, the progressiveness, the way people thought 100 years ago is not the way they think now. So a lot of things, they wear themselves out. In other words, you can. And I was being extreme when I'm like, they stick them. They do anything with their body. A lot of people don't have. I don't know. People are getting bored or something. And it brings me back to the panel topic, the panel topic. You know what I mean? When I was telling you that I'm about to change the subject. I'm about to change the subject briefly.
Okay.
Um, but I don't know. I think it's not going to come without a pushback, and I don't know if that's something that'll ever change. Things could change where people are more progressive in their minds, but something has to soften in that patriarchal energy that even women harness in order for us to see the balance between the matriarchal and the patriarchal energy and them coming together in harmony. You know, um, I don't know if it ever be that because life is about the push and pull. There's always a push and pull. We have a little bit of rest, and the unrest is always that. We always find something to battle about. But sometimes those battles that's what make the change come about. That's what make the change come about. Because when you beat the rock enough, eventually something else forms, right? So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes we have to just exhaust ourselves with these crazy ideas. Like, how extreme do we go before we can really see that it's not working? It's not working at all. It's not progressive for the society. It's not bringing peace. There's more of people unaliving themselves, more people doing drugs, more violence. And all of this stuff comes from not having that spiritual component and that balance. And we know we get that from embracing the matriarch, as well as that part of ourselves that have the ability to connect to matriarchal um, mindsets and emotions, because we got a lot of gifts locked in. Men have them too. But to be able to marry that, because we can't be all emotional either. We have to be able to have that balance. But nowadays it seems like a lot of these younger men are more emotional than women. I'm just saying, so we have to and maybe that's necessary because they're being raised by women mostly, predominantly, especially here in the States. And a lot of people are in pain. It's just the way it's coming out, though. We also talked about trauma. and how that shaped the way the relationship is with black men and women. And like I said, it's not just in love relationships, but like we said, in all throughout society. I know here especially we have a lot of breakdown in family. We don't have like strong family units necessarily when it comes to the male and the female are in families and homes. Even when they're separated, there's a lot of toxicity, as you talked about, and abuse and different things that take place. Um, People being children not getting what they need, even with the balance. So it's a lot of work that needs to be done. So the question will be posed again, and I just want to give thanks for your responses regarding that. Now the panel. I just wanted your take on the panel. How do you feel about the panel, P?
Oh, the panel.
We just getting started, but there's only been like what 4 or 5 shows. What do you think of the panel?
Oh, panel. I feel like people should start putting in their energies, matching frequencies, and see how they vibe along. So there's the goals, the visions, and the objectives, as well as the mission, will be actualized with no more stressing, with no more how should I even put it? With no more but if people put in much energy and you see everything will just go on smoothly and we get what we want and the target, the goal will always be actualized and things will come out great out of the community.
My bad. My bad. The mic was off. I agree, P. I was just saying that I
Oh,
want to still give thanks to the panel and to the panelists because for some people this is their first time ever being in front of a camera like this. They don't do videos. They don't, they don't feel comfortable talking on camera. So I just want to give thanks to everyone that has been a part of the panel. But yeah, I think it needs a lot of revamping. Uh, the thing I do want to say something. Do you have anything else you want to add, Pete, before I close on this?
um okay, so I feel like you made mention that and getting emotional. They're not getting their most. So yeah, hopefully very soon revolution, will come in and things will get better, as well as matriarchal tendencies will now have to come in place. So that we see how the world can be a better place rather than toxic masculinity and patriarchy leading us for over how many decades, a millennium for now.
I understand. Yeah. Well, if you're getting emotional, I hope to not make you emotional, but I want to say something to
Okay.
whoever's listening. I'm going to cut these clips up so they will hear it. They don't have to watch it. They'll hear it because I'm going to cut the clips up and post them as I do. So
Okay.
I meant to bring my singing bowl in to quell the energy, but I just forgot to bring it in. Let me take a sip of water. It's
Oh,
what I'm seeing is I'm seeing this split that's taking place. Like I said before, people are on different frequencies now. And it's two in to be exact. I mean there's more frequencies all in between. But it's two baselines to be exact. And when I say baseline, it's things that people are strongly rooted in and others that are being uprooted or freely going with the flow. They having radical trust for the Almighty, radical trust for the Spirit, radical trust for how the universe is flowing. If you want to call it energy, God, or however you identify with this force.
yeah.
And there's a great divide, and there is an attack on God's people right now. There's an attack on the people who are trying to shift this paradigm. You know, it's a fight. And a lot of us here, especially in America, we are in spiritual warfare. And I know it's all over because the world is spiritual, the earth is spiritual. But the warfare is so heavy. And it's really sad because a lot of people don't even know what side they're fighting on. You got so many different systems locked in place and they think they're doing the right thing and they fighting against the very thing that could liberate them because they think it's the wrong thing. Back to patriarchal thinking and old outdated systems, outmoded beliefs, ego, wanting to keep other people suppressed because there's an agenda in this fight. But to you star seeds, to you soul jets who are vibrating at a very high level and are being stuck in the vibration, because some of us can't even get to the high level because of so many things you're fighting against, but that light continues to shine. And that's why I said vibrate at a high level, because even in darkness you got to continue to reach for the light. They're trying to destroy our essence. They're making people give up. People have a giving up spirit right now, and so it's only the strong that's going to survive and be able to push through this, because it's making people. I looked at the content creators. The content isn't even being made on people with way bigger platforms than me. People are giving up. I'm seeing posts about people wanting to unalive themselves. Very sad. And it's not from one school of thought or walk of life. It's from many different religions and schools of thought and people that's supposed to be conscious. And it's not about that. Because at the end of the day, when we get to the soul of things, when we get to the bare soul of things, everybody is looking for something. Everybody is wanting to be fulfilled. And when they're not, and this ego is being broken right now, that's part of the old paradigm shifting. There's a change. So a lot of people, their ego was invested in the old world. Everything that they've built their lives around is structured in the old paradigm. So for some people, this is causing great pain, great anguish, mental distress, and cognitive dissonance, because this is something that they've never experienced. Not being able to find jobs in their field, even though they went to college and got degrees. The religion thing, even though they got religion, they still depressed. Relationships ain't relationshiping. People running around here lonely. You know, loneliness is one of the silent killers in the hood that people don't talk about. How many lonely people there are out there. We so lonely, but we never can find each other. You know, that's just so interesting. But they're doing everything they can to keep us divided. And for you star seeds and soul jets and you special people with that light inside of you, keep pushing. Ancient angel, keep pushing, brother. I see you. Even when the rest of them don't, I see you. Mansa, keep pushing. Peace Sunday, keep pushing. Y'all are the youth. A lot of these people are tired and they're going to die out with that old paradigm. It's time to set things straight and on fire now. Y'all keep burning for the world because we are in the year of the snake. That means the old way is passing. A lot of the reasons we got unrest is because we're passing from the old skin. You don't even know who you are right now. What are you becoming as the skin begins to tear away and we become a new thing? Some people are becoming bigger and badder beasts and destroying things, while others are becoming better versions of their selves. They're going, but right now we don't know completely yet. We're going through the transition right now, so we got to give each other grace. Take the rest that your body need when your body need it. Be real and be true to yourself. Allow people to fall away that want to fall away. Because what we're seeing right now is people in their raw form as the skin pulls off, as the spirit breaks away all of the scales in the old skin and allow this new being to exist in a new body and in new ways. So you guys hold on. And in Nigeria, in Ifa, my teacher, my priest used to say, Kola, you gotta ride the wave of fire. You gotta ride the wave of fire. So you still going high, but it's burning you. And that spiritual fire that you're riding is going to be your liberation. A lot of people, they don't get it right now. And that's okay. It's okay to not know, but don't let it take this. This is all we got. This mind right here, you do all you can to protect it. And if anybody try to make you think something is real that's not and play in your mind, cut them off immediately. You got to, man. Anyway, I'm going to quit rambling on, but I want to say this. A thing that helped me, a chant that helped me also, I was taught by my Ephod priest. You hold your head, when you get confused and just say, Ori Bami She, Ori Bami She, Ori Bami She. And that means let my inner head be my guide, because the head is the leading component to this soul GPS. It's going to give that soul what's in the intangible is going to be made tangible when the soul and the head come together and work together. You can't have one without the other and be in alignment, you know. And I just want to say that because we should not be fighting like this right now. Look at Oshun Tai. Hey, what's good, brother? Shout out to Oshun, bringing that Oshun energy into the place. Okay, so hey, as I said it, but we should not have to be in this struggle till we want to give up. We got to remember the war is on right now, you guys. This is what the Bible talked about when they talk about the days of what is it, Revelation or not Revelation? I forgot what it was called. It's been so long. But it's in the days where things are transitioning. It's like people, it's like almost like pick a side. But the side is picking you really because your spirit, that's why I said I can't even force myself anymore to do things that's not fit for who I am. I'm going to be myself. I'm stepping fully into my gifts. I'm not sure what's going to happen with me on this island, trying to hold things like I've been doing with my platform because it's rough. I'm only one woman and man. I have so many energies that are male and it's hard it's really hard sometimes, and the women, I have a lot of message for them, but they the ones that don't really support. Only so the women that do support, they something special and rare because they're confident and they're strong like me and they're powerful and they're able to see beyond the surface into what really matters. And those ladies have been with me for a long time, and the other ones have came in with the right spirit, such as P. Now, um, we have to definitely take the rest that we need while we're going through this transition, but it's going to get easier. Just don't give up, you guys. Don't give up. You can't allow yourself, don't take yourself out. Trust the spirit. Trust the force that has brought us here and the one that goes with us from lifetime to lifetime. And Nephi is called your Ori. Okay? That soul. That soul is going to go with you from lifetime to lifetime, you guys. So just hold on. And see the ones with the bigger egos, it's gonna be a harder transition. That's what I was telling you earlier, P, about and I see you out there, Ty. Thank you for your energy, brother. When I was telling you that people that are used to having to be humble and having to be, more balanced in, certain disappointments or not having certain conveniences that we have here in America, it's easier to make the transition than for people who are used to and are accustomed to living a certain lifestyle that is still attached to the illusion. It's going to be harder, and a lot of those people won't make it because they won't, their minds are weak. And I'm not speaking to just blacks, I'm speaking to everybody, to humanity. And this is hard. I got a strong mind, and it was kicking my ass last year. You feel me? But God is with me, and when the force is with you, who could be against you? And for many of you, star seeds, soul jets that's rising, the force is with you. If a religion don't suit you no more, a spiritual path don't suit you no more, a job, a family, a community, step out of it. Don't keep your soul in prison. Follow exactly where your soul tell you to go. Get free. Get free. We have to. That's the only way we're gonna find our soul tribe. So, and that's all I have to say on that, you guys. I love y'all, and I speak to the ones that love me. Everything I want wants me. I love y'all. Okay. So, P, do you have anything you would like to say before we close out? I just had to get that out.
Oh,
Asheo.
sorry. My mic was muted. I've unmuted it now. All what you have said is so spiritual, so motivational. It's so inciting. I mean, it's a lot. You said, you just keep hitting the nail, the head of the nail. So everything you're saying is just, it's just a call to action. Yeah. And I believe and hope that everybody is gonna put in their very best, match that frequency, match that vibe, and we keep pushing, and yeah, things are gonna turn out right for everyone.
That's
And
right.
thank you.
That's right. It's working itself out. If they just trust. Trust, have radical trust for the process. It's okay to not know. It's okay to not know. We always want to think our way out of things, but sometimes you got to feel your way through things. That's tapping into the feminine force for real. They have, I did a build because a brother asked me, how could we tap more into the feminine force? And that was a pretty good video. But it's the act of creation and creating, not just creating babies either. They can't get their mind out of not just creating babies. That act right there, that's beautiful. But creation comes in so many forms. Reclaim your inner child. Reclaim your innocence. Just because you see something beautiful in front of you and take that however you want, don't mean it's something that you have to consume. Sometimes it's meant to just be in the energy of it, like the color purple. Okay. So I'm gonna leave that there, you guys. I have a lot to say, but not on this particular live. I want to honor P and honor her time. I thank you so much for coming back on, and we got to talk again about the panel. If any panelists are watching, if you guys are still feeling it, please make yourself seen. Bring that energy in. They had another brother that said he wanted to be a part of the panel too. Um, I need to go back and find his message. But to everybody else, if you guys are over it, that's cool too. We got to go where our spirit is taking us right now, And I don't know. I'm becoming a new creature. I don't know about y'all. I don't even know who I am right now. I got to look at myself like, who am I? I'm becoming a new creature. So I'm hoping that that's happening for everybody as we leave this cocoon and become butterflies. Okay. Some of us are still in the cocoon, and that's okay. But the path of the caterpillar is death, okay? I tell y'all that all the time. There's nothing else. The path of the caterpillar is death. So you might as well walk into the cocoon and let yourself die so that you could be reborn as that beautiful butterfly. And that's all I have to say. Ashe. Peace.